that we are using is not 100% working. It is working, it's a perfect platform, but still there were one or two functionalities missing. For instance, the possibility to have a live chat, a live video chat. And that is, as you can imagine, essential for a job fair, for a virtual job fair. Therefore, we had a discussion, GGC and the delegation of German industry, and we decided rather than going for a 90% event, we go for a 100% event and we give it 2 more weeks. I don't think it's a big catastrophe because virtual events nowadays can be postponed much easier than a real event. You know, a real event like this one, if you say, okay, let's go for 2 weeks from now, this will cause lots of problems. A virtual event can be postponed, and let's try to make it positive. If we postpone it for 2 weeks, we have the chance to bring in even more companies that are willing to offer jobs to the Ghanaian youth. So far we have about 35 companies, if I'm not mistaken. Harriet Maui, they were organizing it, I think. That's correct, right? How many? 32. And Maui, how many job offers were being placed already?
We have almost 250 jobs on offer.
So far 250 jobs, which is nice, but I think now that we give it 2 more weeks, we might try to bring in a few more. So once again, let me reiterate, it's an exciting event and we invite all of you to participate. We will make a little bit more noise about it in the social media. It's on November the 3rd that we will have the virtual job fair, and I'm sure that by then we will give you a few more nice opportunities to achieve your dream job, hopefully. So that had to be said in advance, and now I'm really happy to introduce to you our 2 colleagues from the GGC. That is Ernestine and that is Benjamin. Please, may I ask you to enter the stage. Thank you. Good morning. There is another mic for you, which we can use later. Before we start our discussion, and we labeled it a fireside chat because it's more like a back and forth. It's not a presentation. We don't show PowerPoint presentations. We want to talk about GGC, about what you're doing, but we also would like to involve you as our audience. How do we do that? We choose a sort of, let's say, modern way of participating the audience. That is, we are using an online polling app. An online polling app which is called Slido. So before we start our discussion, I want to make sure that you can participate and you can give us your opinion about what we're talking today. In order to do this, please be so kind. Everybody has a smartphone, I guess, and will be online. Please go online. We do provide free internet access here at the Educata Ghana. If you go, I think it's called, let me just double check while we're talking. It is, but that's the Slido one. Let's first go to the internet. So if you go to Wi-Fi, you have the option either to go to Accor, to Mövenpick, or to Educata. Those are the free online access modes that we are offering. So if you're online, then the next step should be go to slido.com, slido.com. That is our polling app that we are using today in order to get your ideas and to receive your feedback. And slido.com, once you have accessed this website, you just need to go to #Educata. That is the password for today's online polling. And you will see very soon how it works. We will ask you some questions. You have to choose, select one of the answers that suits you best, and then we will discuss it with Ernestine and with Benjamin. So before we start with the first question, maybe I would like to ask you, Ernestine, Benjamin, to say something about yourself before we start, to go into the topic itself. So, Ernestine, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Why are you working for the GCC? How long are you working? And how do you feel?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ernestina Edu, and I work with the GGC as an advisor. I am happy and I feel fulfilled working with the GGC because I have a passion for human and social development. And the GGC, with the role I play, gives me the opportunity to impart lives daily through technical vocational education and training, career guidance, and also providing psychosocial support for returned migrants. So that's it about what I do with the GGC, and I'm very happy about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernestina. Benjamin.
Yeah, good morning, Michael. Good morning, everybody. I'm also pleased to be here and exchange with you in this format on what we do at the Ghanaian German Center and how we contribute to the joint cause that we are addressing here in the context of the Educata. So about myself, my name is Benjamin. I am lucky to be heading the Ghanaian German Center for Jobs, Migration and Reintegration. I'm, as you can see, a GIZ animal since quite a while already. I joined the company in 2013, been responsible for various migration and development projects across the globe in the Near East, in the Balkans, Afghanistan. And since 2018, I was lucky again to end up here in this beautiful part of the world. I started as a regional advisor for Ghana and Nigeria for the program Migration for Development, which runs these GGC centers across the globe. And since the beginning of this year, I have been focusing solely on Ghana and India, heading the Ghanaian German Center since then.
That sounds interesting. You were coordinating Ghana from Nigeria.
I was coordinating special. Nigeria from Ghana.
Oh, even better. Okay, good. I think we should actually now jump into the topic. And to jump into the topic means we will ask you. We will ask you with our first Slido question, which I would like our Slido master in the background, Basir, to show up now. It should, let me see, it should now appear on your smartphone. Let me double check. So let's see, Slido. Okay, so the first question, what would be a typical challenge that GGC would address? We give you 4 options. Option number 1, supporting a Ghanaian job seeker who is looking for a full-time occupation in the health sector in Ghana. Number 2, granting a scholarship for a young Ghanaian student in the field of technical engineering. Number 3, guiding and accompanying a Ghanaian looking for a job at a German offshore oil company in the city of Hamburg. Or number 4, offering a German language class A2 for a young Ghanaian software engineer who wants to study abroad. Those are 4 exciting options, but only one is correct when it comes to the GCC. Now let's see what our audience thinks about it. And you can follow it actually, the development. 52% so far think, 48% supporting a Ghanaian job seeker in the health sector, and only 4% are opting for the language class. So let's see, we have about 24 responses so far, but you see it's still changing a little bit. Okay, now, technical engineering is catching up. No, going down. Going down again. Okay, so with almost 30 responses, I think it's time for the GCC's representatives to say what's correct and what's not correct.
To start with, Michael, allow me that the abbreviation is the GGC, Ghanaian German Center.
What did I say?
GCC.
Sorry.
Don't
Sorry.
worry about it, please, don't worry. Just if you, because you know, we want you to find us on the web and everywhere, that's so, no offense. Yeah. So audience, then our work has been having some repercussions, it seems. So you opted, okay, I mean, the majority actually opted for the three interesting answers, but almost half of you also made it close to our mandate. So we do support Ghanaian job seekers, obviously, looking for occupations in health sectors or other sectors. We are not focusing on a particular sector or a particular a qualification level, but our doors are open and our activities are broadly open to anybody who is looking for a job or looking to advance and build his career here in Ghana. So indeed, what we call the provision and the counseling on economic prospects here in Ghana, which translates into jobs, starting businesses, sharpening your skills, is something that we do at the center. So to that extent, our core service is that we run counseling activities. So you can really come to the center. Ernestina and her colleagues are there. We are seated at the ministry. So if you look for the Ghanaian German Center, you should be able to find us on Google Maps there, and you can benefit from all of our services from there. You mentioned challenges here. Obviously, migration and employment come with a lot of challenges, but we also address the potentials of migration. We also collaborate and leverage the potentials of the diaspora, especially the Ghanaian diaspora in Germany, to support the development of the country. So you can say we are a go-to hub. We are a go-to hub for migration and employment and reintegration and diaspora. So we support the prospects on the ground for local population, but also for people who return to the country and are looking to reintegrate and to find a job here in Ghana.
Okay, to make things clear, Benjamin, a Ghanaian who's looking for a job can come to the GGC. Would he find a job in Ghana or would he find a job in Germany?
That depends on what he or she is looking for. But we focus firstly to build careers here in Ghana. So if somebody comes to us and say, okay, take that example of he wants to work with maybe has an SHS certificate, wants to work with an offshore company in Germany. I think it sounds funny, but it's the reality of the cases that we also face in our day-to-day counseling. Then we would try to counsel that person in a way that there are certain qualifications and competencies that you should acquire here in Ghana before you consider the move. So also consider that the pastures might be greener here than you think they are abroad. Yeah? So often we are making the experience that the people are not so well aware of the options on the labor market, on the training market, options for starting up a business that are available here in Ghana. So we advise and counsel them for this and try to build their career. And if the qualifications and necessary prerequisites, also language-wise, are given for international careers, then we also help those people find the right information, how they can apply for visa, what is necessary to integrate into a country like Germany, because we want to prevent that the people migrate irregularly. We want to help them to migrate regularly, safely, and so that their migration project can yield the best benefits for them.
That brings us to the second Slido question, Benjamin, because migration is a very hot topic. Of course, it's a hot topic for Ghana, for Africa, but also for Europe. And we would like to know from you, what of the following two statements you could subscribe to most? Statement number one. Migration is dangerous and must be avoided. People lose their lives on the way through the Sahara and the Mediterranean on their way to pursue a better life in Europe. Also, through migration, the best brains of a developing country like Ghana go abroad to capitalize on their resource elsewhere and thus widen the skills gap in their home countries. That is one option. The other option, which is contrary to it, is migration is great and has many benefits. It gives you the chance to accumulate financial capital, establish new contacts, learn things, and transfer knowledge back to your country. People even remit money to support their families. So you see two very different points of view, but now it's up to you to decide which one is more to your liking. Let's see. 25 already voted. Okay. Okay. That is more than interesting. So far, 75% think migration is great, and 24% think migration is dangerous, even less. Wow. Now, guys, what's your take on this? Ernestina, may I ask you, how would you comment on this?
Yes, thank you. Migration is great, and there are several benefits. As a center, our focus is on two main things: ensuring that people migrate the right way. So, providing information on the right way to migrate. For instance, we have cases where people contact us and say they want to study abroad. What we do is to provide the right, legit information for them. So migration is great because if you go, for instance, through the regular means, you are able to accumulate knowledge or acquire knowledge, and then you come back and transfer the knowledge. So, for instance, under the Ghanaian German Center, we have two main projects. One is the program Migration and Diaspora, and the second is program Migration for Development. Under the program Migration and Diaspora, for instance, if people go to Germany to study, usually graduate studies, master's, PhD, or whichever, and return, we have various packages that we give to them. One, to help them reintegrate, and then secondly, to help them transfer whatever knowledge they have acquired in their field of work as they return in Ghana. And then for the second one, which is under the program Migration for Development, we also provide support for persons whom we would classify as irregular. And irregular in this case because they did not go through the right process or didn't have the right documents. For instance, we have a lot of the Ghanaian youth traveling through the desert or through the Mediterranean to Europe to seek greener pastures. And then they find themselves there, and because they do not have the requisite documents, they are not able to work, and then at some point in their lives, they would have to return back. So we also support such persons to help them reintegrate. So both answers are actually right because it is dangerous to migrate, but migration is a great opportunity if you migrate the regular way.
Thank you. Benjamin, would you also like to give a comment on this? Because I was sort of surprised to see this response. I wouldn't have expected it, but it's how it is.
Yeah, maybe the respondents knew who they were talking to. So a center for migration, obviously there has to be something good about it, yeah? And no, Ernestina has said it all, yeah? That she knows the business. We tricked you a bit. Obviously, migration is anything but a black and white matter. It is very manifested, and you have to tackle it the right way. And we were brought into life by the German Development Corporation in Ghana to be the hub in Ghana for all the issues that are entangled in the issue of migration. So to leverage on the potentials, as Ernestina has mentioned, but also to avoid people embarking on treacherous and potentially dangerous journeys, and safeguarding their rights, safeguarding their lives through awareness raising, and most importantly, again, my point that we have this strong narrative that here in Ghana especially, that the pastures are greener abroad. Yeah? And obviously migration has its benefits, but it should be well prepared. And when I say well prepared, the main thing that I mean here is that you should also look for the options around you. Yeah, there's often the options that are here in Ghana in terms of making a business thrive, making a career are even greater than in countries like Europe or Germany, where the labor market is quite saturated. Yeah? So that is something that we advise on. So the narrative again is for the offshore guy seeking our assistance. Try to build your career. Try to gather qualifications and competencies here in Ghana. And when the time is right, you might be able to migrate and then make your migration project successful, so that you can also contribute to the development of the country. And if you do so, we also have some nice packages to support your knowledge transfer back, salary subsidies, workplace equipment, job search. So we are there to guide you in the 360 degrees journey before, during, and after migration.
Some Ghanaians might definitely think about migration, but migration isn't migration. For instance, you could also think about going to Germany or another country in Europe for, let's say, 1 or 2 years in order to improve your skills, in order to study, in order to, for instance, apply for a scholarship at Baden-Württemberg Foundation that gives you the chance to live and to work in Germany for 3 to 6 months and to improve your skills that you've already learned in the job here in Ghana. But nevertheless, there is another way of migrating, but with the ultimate goal to come back to Ghana and to give back to your country, but then with a much better qualification and a much better possibility to do good for the country. Is that something you would also try to trigger and try to support?
Absolutely. You said it the right way, and I'm glad that you mentioned the Baden-Württemberg Stiftung. We have the DAAD here. We have also other programs of AHK and of GIZ who all provide various supports to people who want to migrate, people who return. And our job at the Ghanaian German Center is to bundle all these initiatives and informations and make it accessible at one central point. That is why I mentioned that we are the go-to hub, because our mandate is that you come to the GGC and you have all the information from those various service providers, let me call it like that, available. And we can also then refer you, and we partner with those institutions and refer the people who want to migrate, the people who are returning and need the support, to those service providers that can support those people.
Very nice. So the GGC is, of course, helping Ghanaians to find a job here in Ghana, but maybe also in Germany if actually the conditions are correct. Now, what I would like to know from all of you who are sitting here, let's assume you're looking for a job, and at some point in life everybody is looking for a job. What would you do and where would you go if you try to find a good job? And that brings us to the next Slido question. The question is, what do you do if you seek assistance in finding a suitable job in Accra or Kumasi or Takoradi or whatever? So number one, visiting Jobberman or similar websites. Option number two, reading Daily Graphic. Option number three, talking to friends and asking for advice and connections. Number four, cold calling a company. Or number five, going to the GGC. And please don't click on this just because you want to be nice. please click and choose the one that you really think of. So once again, imagine you are looking for a job. So what would you do most, or what would you like most to do among those 5 options if you really want to find a job? Please give us your vote. Wow. Wow. That's exciting. 44%, almost half of you are saying talking to friends and asking for advice and, trying to tap into a network. Followed by Jobberman, which is the online platform. Going to the GGC, that's those who want to be nice. Then we have cold calling a company, and nobody is reading the Daily Graphic. That's really poor. Nobody is reading Daily Graphic, so. Oh, yeah, okay, now someone is doing it, now that I mention it, right. But still, you know what, I think that is amazing. That is an amazing result, but maybe, Benjamin, you want to comment on that first?
Thank you, Michael. Since this is an area where our advisors have much more expertise than myself, actually, Ernestina would be best to tackle this question. Maybe I have something to add after you, please.
Thank you, Benjamin. Yes, so what does the Ghanaian German Center do? The Ghanaian German Center, as one of its mandates, focuses on employment promotion and job creation, and providing various perspectives and opportunities for the Ghanaian youth. And we do this in several ways. And one of the ways in which we do this is what we call job placement trainings. So prior to focusing on job placements and then job placement trainings as one of our services, we did a basic baseline interview or research which revealed that, for instance, if you look at tertiary students and tertiary leavers, most of them graduate from school and lack the basic requisite skills for the job market. So in this case, I'm talking about, for instance, having Microsoft Office tools, having an expertise in these areas, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Most graduates that we have encountered do not have this skill. Meanwhile, it is the most basic that any company would require in order to employ a graduate. So typically you would have, for instance, somebody having a first class in banking and finance and doesn't know how to use Excel, yet the person hopes to work in a bank. So we decided to couch a program that seeks to address some of these. Another program we do is the career guidance sessions, where we teach our beneficiaries how to write a good CV, how to write a cover letter. We do mock interviews where we take the participants through the various skills required to acquire or to have before you even go for that interview. What are you supposed to do as a job seeker before you go for the interview? How do you even explore or seek for job opportunities? What kind of web searches are you supposed to do? If you need to physically contact a company, what should you do? Even to the extent that we teach them how you should dress, how sometimes you need to respond to certain questions. And so all these helps in the kind of work we do. And then out of that, we have been able to come up with some very good results as far as placement into employment is concerned. But I'll hold on with that until you ask your next question.
Yes, because we have a question that relates to particular this one. Thank you, Ernestina, for this very good explanation. I would nevertheless like to jump back to the question, because that's interesting what just came up on the screen. Why is it interesting? 40% of you have the preference when it comes to look for a job to tap into networks. That means talking to friends, asking for their advice, and maybe even try to find a job through your friends, your family, your whatever. Benjamin, did this surprise you?
I mean, aside the fact that I was expecting that you rate us top, yeah, But okay, thanks for the honest feedback. No, it doesn't surprise me too much, to be honest. Actually, it's exactly the rating that I would have given if you would have asked me. Yeah? Obviously, we know networks, contacts are of crucial importance to land a job everywhere, but probably here in Ghana also a bit more than elsewhere. Oh, and Jobberman is taking, and websites are taking the lead as I speak. Okay, yeah, but those two are featured here, and obviously, this is also something that we want to, in a way, also breach, yeah, with the from the center side, because we are also giving advice. We are also having a network contacts, yeah. In that sense, I'm also happy that going to the GGC didn't rate top, because we are not a recruitment agency. Yeah? We are not Jobberman. We are not an employment agency per se, but we can function again, as we said, as a go-to hub to orientate you where to go, which skills you need, etc. The items that Ernestina has already listed. So, I mean, we are happy, I think, with the high digitalization rate of the answers, because that shows that, I think, with our virtual job fairs, the one that we held in July and the one that is upcoming on November 3 in 2 weeks, please all join that. We are on the right track. Yeah. Yeah. Cold calling a company, I would agree, is probably never the very best idea, but maybe more of a desperate approach. And yeah, sorry to I hope there's no journalists from the Daily Graphic or affiliates around here. I read the Graphic every day, so it's very important to me.
Yeah, thank you, Benjamin. No, I think it's important to find out what your preferences are, and I mean, let's face it, when it comes to reality, each of you, I guess, will choose several options, right? You will both go to Jobberman and you will talk to your friends and to your family in order to get a good job. But it's interesting that these kind of options are high on the agenda. But hopefully now, after our chat and after a little bit more noise for the GGC, next time we ask a question, GGC will rank much higher up. The benchmark, right. Okay, Bazir, could you go back to the question before that? I would like to ask the I would like to ask the question regarding how many job placements has the GGC successfully initiated. Here we go. Because that's the next one. I would like for you to give us your opinion, and Stina already mentioned it. The GGC, sorry, that is wrong over there. The GGC has been in existence since when?
We were established on December 13 or 18, but 2017.
2017.
So going to our 3 years anniversary now.
3 years now. Let's see what the achievements are. We would like to know from you, what is your estimate? How many successful job placements has the GGC successfully initiated so far? We give you 3 figures. Around 300, around 1,300, or around 14,300. Again, how many successful placements over the last 3 years since the establishment of the GGC? Now it's about you. You give your guess, and let's see what you think. Okay, 21 have already answered, 22. Okay, Bazia, I think you can show us. Here we go, yes.
The golden middle, yeah? Okay.
The golden middle. So more than half of you think so far 1,300 have been successfully initiated. 300 with 32%. Okay, but it looks like a solid majority for the number of 1,300, with 38 votes coming in so far, 39. Yeah, okay, it doesn't seem to change. Well, Ernestina, would you like to answer this question, because you were already mentioning it?
Yes, Michael, thank you. So yes, the Ghanaian German Center has been able to place 1,300 people into employment so far. And we have been able to do this through our various activities or programs like the job fairs that we organize. And apart from that, we also do a lot of entrepreneurship trainings and business startup supports, where we provide support for young people, again, who have very viable business ideas but do not have the requisite resources to start. So 1,300 is correct. Apart from that, the 300 we see there are actually persons we have been able to provide various psychosocial support for. And psychosocial support here includes counseling, psychosocial counseling, but also for persons who might require medical assistance. And this is mainly for returned migrants. And then the 14,300 we see there are actually persons, we have what we call the active labor market measures. And these are various activities we do in order to prep job seekers for the market or for potential employment. So that is the 14,300 we see there. So yes, 1,300 persons placed into employment so far. Thank you.
That's interesting, especially if you talk about the you said it, the psychological
psychosocial support.
So psychosocial support. Could you tell us a little bit what for instance, why psychosocial support? What kind of support do you give?
Okay, thank you. Yes, so as humans, our ability to withstand various challenging issues varies from one person to the other. So for instance, something may stress me up, but another person will just laugh over it, and that ends it for the person. And so because of that, as a center, we felt the need to pay attention to the psychosocial needs of our clients. Also bearing in mind the fact that most of the people who contact us are between ages 18 and 35, who might be going through some form of midlife crisis. So here it means issues regarding to their inability to, for instance, even function at the workplace, probably because of something that might not be related to the work, or better still, stresses at the workplace. Apart from that, people have challenges securing jobs, which can also affect their mental health and well-being. And then aside from that, again, this year especially came with a very challenging topic, which is COVID-19. And so people's lifestyles has shifted from the normal to what I would call the abnormal. So for instance, we are required to do physical or social distancing, which we are not used to as Ghanaians. We are people who like being around each other. So that one alone poses a challenge. Women may have challenges, especially if someone finds him or herself in an abusing relationship. People would have challenges managing work from home and parenting at the same time. So based on that, we decided to really focus on mental health and psychosocial support. So the psychosocial support, there are various measures we put in place. So we have a clinical psychologist who comes around to organize group therapy sessions for specific clients of ours. We have individual psychotherapy sessions for persons we may think or feel they require such attention. And then we also do several other activities. We also have people who might have, for instance, issues with accommodation. And in this case, I'm particularly referring to returned migrants who may not have prepared before coming back home. And so they would need temporary accommodation to be able to settle. And again, for people who might require some form of medical attention, again, for returned migrants who come through. So when I talk about psychosocial support, it actually encompasses all that I have mentioned so far. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ernestine. It's highly interesting what you're saying, because it gives me the impression that the GGC is much more than just a job center, right? Because you are really trying to support people on many levels. I think it's really impressive, and yes, it's much more than just what you explained in the very beginning, although the focus is and will be on the job market, right? I think that is your core business after all.
Exactly, and also because we believe that a sound mental health, or a person with a sound mind, obviously would be a productive person at the workplace.
Most certainly. Okay, we have one more question for you to answer, and this question is, yes, I think a very interesting one. It's about the obstacle that young Ghanaians face when they are looking for a job here in Ghana. So the question is, from your point of view, what is the biggest obstacle for young Ghanaians who are looking for a suitable job in their country? Number one, no or too little information about vacant positions. Number two, no personal contacts to decision takers and human resource managers in big companies. Number three, lack of experience when it comes to write resumes, application letters, and the like. Number four, lacking of soft skills, skills for work life, or practical skills, and other, if you find something which is not being listed here. So, again, from your point of view, what do you think is the biggest challenge that young Ghanaians are facing when it comes to look and to find a suitable job here in Ghana? So the responses are coming in, 19 already, 20, 21. Okay, Bazir, maybe you show us where we are. Perfect, thank you. Interesting. 3/4, 70% now, lacking soft skills. 23, little information about vacant positions, no personal contacts. That's really interesting. 34 responses already, and it seems like the lacking of soft skills remains on top, followed by too little information about vacant positions. To be honest, what I find interesting, and let me briefly comment on this, what I find interesting here is only 11% opted for no personal contacts, whereas at the last question we asked, you said that when it comes to look for a job, I rely on networks, on friends and families. But now, funnily enough, no personal contacts are only 13%.
So you still need skills for work life that you can capitalize on with the context. So it doesn't go without each other. Possibly,
Exactly.
yeah.
Okay, so almost 40 responses. Benjamin, how would you comment on this?
Yeah, I think it's not such a surprising result for us, because that is also what we are preaching and what Ernestina has been telling us, that also we have been called to life for, to exactly bridge that gap. We have academic education, we have tertiary education, we have a lot of initiatives that focus on building qualifications, but there's not so much focus on the competencies and these work life competent, the practical skills. Also something like an entrepreneurial skill set in companies where you might be employed is something that that we see when we engage employers. We often hear complaints about that. Yeah, these people that come to us, the young graduates, they are not really fit to work here. Yeah, they don't know how to work. Yeah, this is often feedback that we are receiving, and it points to a crucial problem then that we hear when we turn the tables and listen to our job seekers, hear from them that the employers don't give us a chance. Yeah, they always seek for persons with certain experience already. So it's very hard to enter the job market freshly as a fresh graduate. Yeah, for these two issues mentioned, and I think that is something where we that we tackle from the center side. And I don't know, Ernestina would maybe be the best, because that is among the core business of the advisors to shed some more lights on how we tackle this skills gap that we have identified here. Yeah.
Yes, and I think this response is also very good for you guys, because what's being pointed out here is something that you can offer, right? You offer, I guess you can also train and teach the job seekers in regard to skills for work life. You will definitely have information about vacant position, and through you, they will also receive contacts at least to big companies and to the HR managers, because that's who you are talking to. So everything that is being mentioned here is also being offered by the GGC, and therefore there's no reason why next time you're looking for a job, you go to GGC and not to Jobberman, or maybe both would be the best.
That would be permissible, yeah, exactly.
Yes, so I'm also not too surprised about the outcome of this question, the responses, because of course now we have access to internet, and so information about vacant positions are everywhere. When we look at lacking soft skills for work life and practical skills, I think I mentioned that earlier, and it is one problem with most young job seekers in Ghana. And this is because, for instance, a typical university graduate may not see the need to do an internship while in school if he or she wouldn't be graded. But the point is, you do not do internships only because you'll be graded, but because you want to acquire some practical skills before you leave school. So what we do at the center, again, is to provide information and educate our target groups, especially tertiary leavers, on some required soft skills for the job market. So here, even leadership skills, being proactive, taking initiatives and all that are things that people are not able to easily do. And then, like I mentioned earlier, how to prepare for an interview, being conscious of your time, not being late to work, all those things are also ones that we focus on during our mock interview sessions. And then we also teach people how to write a CV and then cover letters and anything regarding having a good work life. Now, on the practical skills, what we have sought to do is to encourage people to go into internships, whether it is paid or not. So there have been a few instances where we have actually been able to facilitate or link people up to various companies and institutions who are willing to take on interns. And it has been quite fruitful. Now, for the practical skills, I would also want to address it from the TVET interventions we have. So we have had instances where people study engineering and they do not know anything practical about the kind of engineering they have studied. And so what we seek to do is also, again, to facilitate such persons to find internships with relevant organizations. But apart from that, we also do various technical vocational education training programs. For instance, hairdressing, mechanical engineering, and the likes with master trainers. And our focus is on master trainers because they do about 95% practical rather than the theory, so that it helps the job seeker to have both the theory that he may have studied from school, but also to have the practical skills that comes with the kind of position he or she is looking for.
Very good. Thank you very much, Ernestina, for these explanations. I guess now everybody has a very clear picture in mind when it comes to the GGC, and hopefully not only a clear picture, but also gives advice to someone who is looking for a job, and then will definitely mention your contacts. If I look at the time, I think we are done, but Benjamin, would you like maybe to say a few words at the end of our discussion? Is there something that was missing that you would like to address once more?
Yes, thank you, Michael, for sure. So once more, to invite everybody that is looking to find a job or build a career here in Ghana or abroad to visit the Ghanaian German Center. We are located at the Labor Ministry's premises, who is our partner, with whom we collaborate very closely. So you find us in the ministry's area from Monday to Friday. You can go there. Ernestina and her advisor colleagues are there to attend to your course, and we'll be happy to host you there. Then, last not least, obviously, to once more also apologize that we couldn't hold the job fair, the virtual job fair on the platform today. But yeah, as Michael, you said it in the beginning, we wanted to ensure a smooth and perfect experience. That's why we decided we don't want to go for a hiccup today, but rather to have a smoothly running platform, hopefully in 2 weeks. So please spread the news and patronize the event next in 2 weeks' time, November 3rd. And for registration, you can visit the Facebook page of the Ghanaian German Center. It's you can find it at Ghanaian German Center when you go to your Facebook page. And last not least, also we are here today, obviously. So please visit our booth. Our advisors, our colleagues are here. We are not alone. We are here with the colleagues from the Migration and Employment Promotion, Financial Systems Development, and also our partners from the Labor Ministry. So if you want to get more information about entrepreneurship, skills development, career guidance, migration support, please, the GIZ Ghana booth is for you, and there's a lot of knowledgeable colleagues who would be happy to attend to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ernestina. Benjamin, it was a pleasure, and I hope you had some fun too with Slido. See you to the next session in our discussion island corners, and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.